Kenya Premier League Week 9 did serve the fans with a mouth-watering clashes, and of course the Mashemeji Derby was the peak of that bunch. We did have a lot of exciting matches, and today in studio to discuss Kenya Premier League Week 9 is Dennis Sampaio. And of course, let's start with the Mashemeji Derby. Now, FC Leopards did dominate the first half. However, Gor Mahia did manage to put 4 goals past them in the second half. Let us take a look at that action.
Again for Gor Mahia. What a way he started his career, and especially in the derby. FC Leopards fans in disbelief. They had started the game perfectly, but Gor were not done yet. Ghislaine found...
Dennis, 4-1 in favor of Gor Mahia. I know a lot of people were having this discussion before the derby, and they did say that FC Leopards, this was their game for the taking. First and foremost, your take on that game?
This was an opportune time for Kasambungo to take the 3 points, because since 2016, FC Leopards have not managed to beat Gor Mahia. And Gor Mahia came into this match prepared both by the confidence they had from the CAF Confederations camp, which they were thrashed out by Motema Pembe. They came back. They had a lot of confidence. They wanted to prove to the fans that we can still do this thing. They had gotten a sponsor just the other day. And when they came here, I remember I went for the training sessions, and there was something that the coach, Steve Pollack, was trying. There was some formation that was trying to play with the players and trying to instill it to them and make sure that these players, when they go to the match, they can play this way. And we came to Kasarani in the first half. It didn't work out, and fans were calling for Afriye to be pulled out of the game. But the coach knew why he was still keeping him in the field. And in the second half, Afriye scored 2 goals before Miheso, and Lawrence Juma scored the other goal. And you saw Lawrence Juma has been having the form of his life, both in country and in club. And for this one, I can say that Kasambungo threw it away. He had a bigger opportunity. He has a good squad. And also, the FC Leopards are complaining about poor officiating, which also has been a big problem in the league since KPL decided that the teams are going to pay the referees. That's quite funny, because I think it's very easy to manipulate a referee if you're the one paying him.
Well, let's go back to FC Leopards. In the first half, they did manage to give a very good, very tight half. But in the second half, Kasambungo did some changes, and they were very, I can say very brave changes, because he did take out defenders to put in strikers, and it did not work for him. What do you think went wrong for FC Leopards in the second half?
In the second half, he brought in players whom he thought and he had confidence that they're going to win the game for him. And once you pull out defenders to bring in strikers, that means you have left your defense open. You're leaving the defense open for people like Dennis Oalo. You're leaving it for people like Tobias Otieno. Tobias Otieno is very creative. And you have Tobias Otieno there and Clifton Miheso. You have players like Afriye and Akipie and Kiprui. These are players who can punish you at any time. So when he brought them out, and these defenders were the people who are stopping Gor Mahia from scoring the goals. And when they went outside, Gor Mahia were able, and they got a very big opportunity to score the goals, and they were able to try out the tactics that the coach had instilled in them. It was very easy for them to score. And once the defenders were pulled out, they became more strong. They went forward and scored the 4 goals.
Well, FC Leopards did manage to get what we call, you know, a
consolation
goal. However,
which was a beautiful goal.
It was a beautiful goal. For me, I think, despite them not having a very good second half, that goal was the one moment that they actually got it right. And after that, we did see that FC Leopards did try to get more shots outside the goal. That means that Gor Mahia did put their defense well. What would you say of Dennis Mapigano? I know he's not had a very, very good season with Gor Mahia, but however, in that game, he did try his best. I think it was one of the best games that I have seen Mapigano.
First, he has very funny names. David Robert Kisu Mapigano.
I'm telling you.
I'm happy for him. He was called for the national team at Tanzania when they're playing for AFCON. It's a good opportunity, and shows that the Kenyan game is good if he plays in Gor Mahia and they call him for the national team. David Robert Mapigano, I don't know why KPL players don't see this. He really moves forward, and it's very easy to score. And this is an opportunity that Boniface Moshirion is still in Tusker, and he scored 2 goals. When you have the ball at the midfield or somewhere near the goal, Mapigano moves forward. So it's just shoot and score. And you saw what FC Leopards did. They shoot from distance, a very long range, and you beat him.
Because he's already out of
anytime you get an
position.
opportunity to shoot, When you're playing against Gor Mahia, just shoot from away. Because when you come closer, it's very hard to beat him.
Let's talk a little bit about John Mark Makwata. He is currently the top scorer in the Kenya Premier League. He, however, did not get a chance to score in that game. Do you think the Gor Mahia defense did their homework well?
He was coming up against a very tactical and hard defense. You have Josh Onyango, the best player, not only in Gor Mahia, but in KPL, the best defender we have in the country at the moment. And you're coming against such a player. As a striker, you have to use all the opportunities that you get. But Makwata didn't get many of opportunities. And he was coming against Charles Momanyi, he was coming against Geoffrey Ochieng, and on the other side we had Wellington Ochieng. And these are players who have played for a long time together, who have gelled, who know each other, and they know how to cut off the strikers. You can't really score. And also, people like Sony Sugar, they didn't supply the balls that we were expecting. They were not able to link up between midfield and striking. So even if you're a very good striker, if you don't get the balls, then you're going to score.
Well, interesting points there from Dennis Sampaio, of course. Well, let's look a little bit at a clip that happened. Now, this did happen after the FC Leopards fans saw that the match was not going their way. And of course, if you do look at that footage, you can see that they're destroying property at the stadium. Of course, this is something that comes with derbies, but does it have to be this way?
No, it doesn't have. It's quite painful for the team, because you see, first Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, they don't have a sponsor. You see, you destroy seats. These seats is the stadium that we all rely on. It's only the stadium that is CAF approved. So when you destroy seats and your team does not have a sponsor, it's a burden, it's double the burden to the team, which is not a good show, it's not a good thing. Fans need to find a better way of protesting and not throwing the seats into the field.
Well, there you have it from Dennis Sampaio. That is the Mashemeji Derby update. And of course, let's move on to another match that I mean, Kakamega Homeboys versus Western Stima. Now, this match ended in favor of Kakamega Homeboys. They won the match 2-0, and I did think that Western Stima would beat Kakamega Homeboys. However, I was wrong. So this win made sure that Kakamega Homeboys climbed second to the log. Let's look at it keenly. I mean, we have to give credit to Salim Babu. He has done exceptionally well with Western Stima. This is only the first loss that Western Stima have experienced this season. Your thoughts on that game?
First, it was a weekend of derbies. It was dubbed the Western Derby.
Yes.
Between Kakamega and Western Stima. And coming into this match, Salim Babu was booed by the fact that he had not been beaten. He was still unbeaten together with Bandari United. And he came into this match hoping that he's going to win. But Kakamega Homeboys came into a match after beating teams like Wazito, after beating teams like FC Leopards, and wanted to prove to people that they are the kings of Western, that they can beat FC Leopards and they can beat Western Stima and go ahead and win. The other day, they were beating their chest, saying that even if Gor Mahia go and play Arsenal, they're still going to beat them, which we were hoping and waiting to see the next 2 days.
Oh, that is Kakamega Homeboys for you. And let us go to something that we dub as the government derby. Ulinzi versus Bandari. And this is the second loss that Bandari have experienced in the last 2 fixtures that they have played in the Kenya Premier League. Now, Ulinzi did win by a solitary goal. Now, there have been rumors that Mwalala could be leaving for Yanga soccer club for Tanzania. Do you think that this is part of the reason why we're seeing the dismal performance with Bandari?
One, this will be the most opportune time for Bernard Mwalala to leave. Remember, he played for Yanga, he played in Tanzania, he played in Kenya, so he knows the 2 countries well. He has led Bandari to the CAF Confederation Cup playoffs, something that Bandari has never achieved over the years. And with that in place, we're not sure if in the coming year, Bandari will be able to reach such a point. Yeah. So once as a coach, you reach such a peak and you get another opportunity, it's always good to rush and go for the other opportunity. I would say these players had traveled a lot around Africa, playing the CAF matches. They came back, the fixture was congested, so it could have played a part in them losing.
Well, interesting points there you do have to say, but we do have to give credit to Bernard Mwalala. He is one of the best tactical coaches that we have seen in Kenya. He's done very well with Nzoia Sugar. He's now come to Bandari, and he has done well. But however, let's look at the other team, Ulinzi. They are not scoring very many goals, but they have a way of ensuring that they're getting the 3 points. They did get the 3 points from Tusker. Now they've gotten the 3 points from Bandari. Do you think Ulinzi, Tom Nyangweso and his boys are doing enough, just enough, to get the 3 points that they do need?
Tom Nyangweso and his team have all the resources they need. Most teams in KPL, you look at the KPL, look at the table, like half of the teams have good sponsors and they can manage themselves, and then the other half do not have sponsors, which is a hard thing. Ulinzi is part of the teams that have good sponsors, that have a good management, that they have all the resources that they need to win games. And the most important thing in a league is to make sure that you collect the maximum points. If you collect 3 points, even if you win 1-0, even if you win a half, provided you've won the match,
doesn't matter how
you have the 3
score.
points, and the 3 points are the most important thing.
Yes.
So Nyangweso continues collecting points, and you see he's beating big teams. He's not just beating small teams. Tusker is a big team. Bandari is a big team, and if you collect points with big teams, with such teams, then it means that even when you meet struggling teams, it's easier for you to collect points, which is easy for him. And if you continue that way, then they may finish in a good position at the end of the season.
Well, you have talked about money, and we cannot talk about money if you've not talked about Wazito. Now, Sofapaka, even without coach Alves Divaldo, once reminded Wazito that they still have a long way to go when they beat them 2-1 win, 2-1 rather. The Melis Meadow side didn't have a very good day in office. Now, let's take a look at those highlights.
Angalia bao ilivyokuwa hapa.
La kwanza.
Ngoma ilijazwa.
Alikuwa hayupo kabisa mchezaji yule ambaye amefunga Aswani. Alikuwa hayupo kabisa, lakini alipatiwa muda sana. Sababu ungeangalia kwa kweli angekuwa na mtu karibu yake asingefikia mpira ule. Manake kipa alikuwa ananyanyuka ndio, lakini alitoka wapi Kefa Aswani? Inamaanisha katika defense kuna mtu ambao hakuwa anamwangalia Kefa Aswani yuko wapi. Watu ambao wanatisha, watu ambao unawajua ni wafungaji wazuri wa magoli, lazima kwa wakati wowote mpira ukiwa kwenye himaya yako, lazima ukajua amesimama wapi na ana nia kufanya nini.
Well, it's been a mixed, how can I say, a mixed plate. A mixed plate for Melis Meadow. He has come to Wazito, he's won 1 match, drawn 1, and now he's lost 1. What do you think is going through his mind?
Melis Meadow struggled with Mount Kenya last season before he came back to the Kenya Premier League, and it's very hard. That team has very big names, and these names everyone wants to play, and it's hard for the coach. Wazito needs to be given time for the players to gel. He needs to find his first starting 11. He needs to find the best players. He needs to know who will play well against who, and that will take some time. One thing I'm sure is that Wazito will not be relegated, but they'll finish in the other half of the KPL table. He came, he has won 1, drawn 1, and even the match that he won against, was it Sony?
Yes,
he beat Sony. Sony is a struggling side. Sony only came to that match so that they won't be relegated, because they knew if they don't come for that match, they're going to be relegated because they had already given 2 walkovers. And Melis Meadow has a long way. He just needs to relax, sit down, choose your team without any manipulation by anyone, and then that way it will be easy for him even to win the other games. If you come to the other side, it's also hard to understand what Eli Kaleko is trying. In the past 2 seasons, the other season he brought in Melis Meadow. Instead of a few games, chased him away. Now he brought another coach, after a few games he chased away, and brought back who? Baraza, who played for the team, who was one of the top scorers in the team, who understands the team very well. And once the other foreign coaches leave, Baraza performs well. Baraza wins matches. So I think Eli should put enough trust in Baraza, give him the team for like a contract of maybe 3 years, let him build a team and see if he can win, and not just give him half seasons, half-baked things.
Well, there you do have it. Now, we do go to Kisumu All Stars, who did manage to pick their first win of the season as the sorry form of Kariobangi Sharks continue, because Sharks have only picked 1 win in 9 matches. They have lost 4. They have drawn the other 4. Kariobangi Sharks. What?
The toothless shark. What happened to the shark?
What happened to the shark?
They have the cash. They have William Uluya. They have anything that you did. Now they have a new sponsor, whom we've not been told how much is bringing into the team, but that means they are good, and they have good players. They have Samuel Olwade, who plays in the national team. They have Duke Abuya, who plays in the national team. They have the keeper, Oyemba, plays for the national team. And these are players who can win a game.
And the fullback who keeps being called to the national team.
It comes to a point when a team reach a certain point, I think it's a maximum, or I don't know how to call it. It's a point where you start going down, you start nose diving, and that's where Kariobangi Sharks are today. They haven't invested in so many players. They didn't buy so many players. They believed in their squad, which is not giving them the results. And I think it's a matter of time to see if William Muluya will stay there. I think he's staying on a borrowed time because very soon he may leave.
Well, he is living on borrowed life. That is according to Dennis Sampaio. And let's just look at the results of the Kenya Premier League Week 9. KCB drew 1-1 with Tusker. Kisumu All Stars beat Kariobangi Sharks 1-0. Posta Rangers managed to get 3 goals and 3 points from Sony Sugar. Sofapaka did beat Wazito 2-1. Gor Mahia beat FC Leopards 4-1. Kakamega Homeboys beat Western Stima 2-0. Zoo Kericho beat Nzoia Sugar 2-1. Bandari United beat Sony Sugar 3-2. And of course, Ulinzi beat Bandari 1-0. And with that, Dennis Sampaio, let's take a look at the table. Gor Mahia are at the summit of that table with 2 matches at hand. Kakamega Homeboys moved to second with a win over Chemelil. Third is occupied by Tusker, who managed the 1-1 draw.
Gor Mahia have 2 games in hand, and they're still leading with 18 points, 1 ahead of Kakamega Homeboys. So if they win the 2 games, that means they lead by 7 points. And Gor Mahia seems to be like the best team in Kenya. The league is theirs to lose, and we're hoping that even in next season they're going to go for the Cup Champions League. And I think teams need to man up and bring the game to Gor Mahia, and not just let Gor Mahia win in every game. I was happy to see Shimanyula, the owner of Kakamega Homeboys, beating his chest, telling Gor Mahia, we are waiting for you to come. We will beat you. That gives morale to the players. And these players are coming, if the owner thinks that they can beat Gor Mahia, if he motivates them, then it's easy for them. Other teams, we have Kakamega, we have Tusker, we have Bandari, we have Ulinzi, we have KCB, we have Posta, well-funded teams with very good players. You look at Matano, what doesn't he have? Matano has Mike Madoya, the best player in the KPL, I think 3 seasons ago. He has David Majak, one of the best strikers in the country. He has Odhiambo, he came from Gor Mahia, Blackberry. He has very good players. He's supposed to be winning games. You don't understand what happens. And then when they come against Gor Mahia, he's beaten by 5 goals.
Well, let's take a look. FC Leopards are in 7th after their loss, and Bandari are in
11th position.
11th position after their loss to Ulinzi. Now,
2 teams are shocking here.
Yes.
Bandari and Kariobangi Sharks. Remember, they were in the final of the Shield Cup last season for the team to qualify to play in the CAF Confederations Cup. And these are the teams that got there, and it's very sickening to see them in these positions after 11 matches. They're supposed to, after
9.
After 9 matches, they're supposed to be in a better position, and it's quite sad. Even the teams like Wazito, you look at Bangi Sharks, you look at Sofapaka, these are teams that are supposed to be the first half of the table, not the other side.
Well,
and then look at it, in a few, maybe in the next 5 games, this will have changed. But one thing I'm sure that will not have changed, Gor Mahia will still be in the top 2.
Well, let's look at the second half of the table, and of course that is the bottom of the table. And at the bottom we have
Sony Sugar with 1 point. It's very sad. They lost their coach. He went to Tanzania.
Yes, Biashara FC.
I asked him, and he says, well, he has bills to pay. He has a family. He has kids to take to school. You can't say a place where I'm being paid.
Yes.
And it beats logic. And I understand him, but it's very sad for the team. 9 matches. They have played 8 matches. They have only collected 1 point.
1 point.
And if they don't take care, they're going to be relegated.
So, Chemelil, of course, is at the bottom of the table, followed closely by Kisumu. Is it Kisumu?
That's followed by Sony Sugar. Sony Sugar have a good game. They had sponsorship issues, and once the issues were settled and players took pay cuts, and it's a bit easy. And also the game that they played against Wazito, they played a very good game. Wazito beat them 4-3. That means they played a good game. They scored 3 goals. Even the next game, they played well. So with time, I think Sony will come back, and they may not be relegated.
Well, let's look at the new boys, Kisumu. How do they look on the 17th? Please.
First, it's a good thing that they collected 3 points. It was hard also for the coach. You look at Kisumu All Stars, they collected their first 3 points of the season, which is a good thing, motivation to their players, motivation to everyone. Yeah. The whole city of Kisumu is happy, at least their boys are collecting points. They're waiting for their game with Gor Mahia, which is going to be a derby, which is going to be
a mini derby.
A mini derby,
yes.
A small derby in Kisumu.
Yes.
And there's a lot of politics in the team, and Omino is having a very hard time even to select the first 11. And remember when they were promoted, they left so many players to go. They got a new team, and that's where most teams
go wrong.
Get it wrong. Same thing to Wazito. The players that promoted them, all of them were released. They got a new team that you're going to make the players gel. You're going to teach the players new methods, new tactics. They're not used to each other, which is hard. They need to learn from what Eli Kalekwa did when they came to the Premier League. Sofapaka came from the Championship, came and won the league. They only changed a few players. So once you promoted the league, please don't lose your players.
Well, of course, that is the action that took place in Week 9. And let's look at the fixtures that will happen in Week 10. And, of course, we have Nzoia versus Posta Rangers. Bandari United versus Sofapaka. Dennis, let's take a look at that match. Bandari United has not lost a match yet this season. They are getting motivation from beating the likes of Gor Mahia. What do you think this match will mean to John Baraza and his boys?
Baraza comes into this match with a lot of motivation after winning the previous match. Even after the foreign coach left, Baraza is left with the players. He understands the players well. He played a quite different team from what the foreign coach was playing. Yeah. And with the players having a good relationship with the coach, then it's easy for them to win a match. And I think this is the first match that Bandari United are going to lose.
Oh, very well. Then we have Zoo Kericho versus Sony Sugar. KCB versus Chemel Sugar. I think that will be a very easy match for KCB to collect the 3 points. But Kisumu All Stars versus Wazito. Your thoughts, Dennis? I mean,
Kisumu All Stars versus Wazito. These are two teams that were promoted the other day. And remember, even in the NSL, they were fighting there. And there's a time I think Kisumu beat Wazito by 5 goals. I think 5 or 4 goals. Yes. The time they really beat them well. And in this one, Kisumu All Stars have a lot of challenges, financial challenges. They have politics, a lot of politics in their team. And you see Melis Medo wants to win. Melis Medo wants to prove to Don Rico that he's the right guy for the job, that he didn't just get the job by luck, but he's going to win these games. And in this one, for the first time, I think Wazito are going to win.
Okay, very well. Then we have newly sponsored Kariobangi Sharks versus Ulinzi Stars.
Kariobangi Sharks, it's very hard to predict them this season. They are being beaten. I think they have only one match yes. in 9 matches.
Yes.
And Ulinzi comes into this match after winning several matches. And I think Ulinzi are going to win this one.
Well, it's going to be a very difficult affair for Matano as he faces the Salim Babu Western Stima. What is your take on that match and what should we expect?
Tusker versus Western Stima. Western Stima lost their first match the last weekend. And they're coming into this match, maybe their morale a bit low. They want to prove to the sponsors that they can win this. Tusker have the headmaster, Matano, who has a myriad of players to choose from. He has the best midfield in the KPL at the moment. Yes. He has one of the best strikers. And I think in this one, Tusker are going to win it.
Oh, well, there you have it. And of course, let's go to 2 other fixtures that are going to be very, very difficult. Bandari are hosting FC Leopards in Mombasa. Very difficult stadium. Baraki Stadium is one of the most difficult stadiums to go, and you know, even as an opponent, it's one of the stadiums that you really do not want to go and face a match there. What do you make of Bandari versus FC Leopards? It's going to be a very difficult match. Bandari have lost 2. FC Leopards were humiliated by Gor Mahia. However, they did have you know, a little bit. You could see individual brilliance in their match against Gor Mahia. What do you make of this match?
You know, they say that Baraki is a slaughterhouse. You can ask Gor Mahia, they never win there.
Gor Mahia never wins
there are a few factors that play into this. If you've been to Mombasa or the coast, the temperatures and the weather change. It's quite sad for Kasambungo because I don't think he's going to get this one. And also Bandari have lost several games in a row. I think 3 games in a row. The CAF Champions League match and 2 KPL matches. So it's going to be... They want to prove to their sponsors that they lost maybe by chance. It wasn't their time to lose, and they want to come back and prove to the sponsor they are good. They also want to reward their coach, Bernard Molala, who has really been there for them. And I remember when they were playing Horoya from Guinea, he looked deflated. He was wondering, what's wrong with the players? I have given you everything that you need. The sponsors have taken you to Tanzania, they have taken you to South Africa so that you can prepare for these matches, but you're not winning. So it's up to the players to bring back the glory.
And of course, the last match of week 10 will be Alan Wanga's inspired Kakamega Homeboys versus Steve Pollack's Gor Mahia. Your thoughts on this match? I'm telling you, it's been all over. Kakamega Homeboys look like they are geared up. They look like a new oiled machine. Your thoughts?
For me, this is the game of the weekend. Like, this is the game that everyone is looking forward to. This is the game that we all want to see as analysts, as fans, and see what Shimanyula and his team are going to bring forth. I remember the other day he was talking on social media and saying even if Gor Mahia go and play Arsenal, they can't beat his team because Gor Mahia are coming from a friendly against Al Hilal. They traveled to Libya and played a good game. It ended 1-1, and they're coming back after that game good and with a lot of confidence that they're going to beat these guys. And I don't think Kakamega Homeboys are going to beat Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia is a force to reckon with.
And on that note, where Dennis Sampaio does think that Gor Mahia will beat the Kakamega Homeboys, well, all you can do is just sit and wait. And we do go for a short break. And when we come back, we're talking about the National Super League.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back, and now let's look at the NSL. Now, Football Kenya Federation unveiled a new sponsor for the National Super League. FKF confirmed that betting firm Betika will officially be the league's main sponsor to a tune of 90 million for 3 years. The league has now been dubbed the Betika Super League. Your thoughts, Dennis? 90 million.
I was very happy to learn that NSL had a new sponsor, Betika. They came in. It has been a very long time without sponsors, NSL, and most teams were even struggling to
It's actually
travel.
the first time that
yeah,
NSL
it's the first
is
time they're
getting
having a sponsor.
Yes.
The other days they were really relying on FKF, and it's a good thing. One, the best part of this deal is when they're saying they're providing kits and training facilities. That means when you provide that, the teams do not have to invest or use finances in buying these things. For the next 3 years, it's going to be a good thing, and I'm very happy that the teams are going to buy kits, and they're also going to get money. And that means also the trophy has a new sponsor. It means like we also have a cash money at the end of the season, which is a good thing, and I'm very happy. And I'm hoping very soon also KPL will get a sponsor. And,
Now, Eldoret Youth was previously Northern Wanderers, then now back to Eldoret Youth. Dennis, your thoughts, and not mainly because of what is happening to the teams, but if you were a player, you came into the National Super League as the Northern Wanderers, then you have all these problems, and now you get suspended from the league. Now you're back to Eldoret Youth. You're not even allowed to play any games. As a player, what does it do to you psychologically?
It's quite unfortunate and very sad. That means, one, they're not going to get much allowances. They're not going to get training allowances. And this is maybe what they survive on. I didn't play football for a long time. I retired at the age of 18 because of so many factors. And as a player, it's very hard. As a player, it's very painful that whatever that brings food to your table, it's cut short. And I will beseech and ask the people running NSL, but let these players come back and play. As a team trying to sort out its ownership issues, let just the players train, play, get their bonuses, and also be fit for the next matches.
Well, we'll take a look at a few matches that will be taking place on match day 16th.
Migori Youth will take on St. Joseph.
Yes.
And I think Migori Youth are going to win this one. We have Talanta. Talanta is a good team. Modern Coast a good team, which have fought for a long time to come to KPL, which hasn't been really easy. And I think this one goes with Talanta.
Well, let's look at Nairobi Stima versus Vihiga Bullets. Do you think this is a match that Nairobi Stima will get the 3 points, keeping in mind that they should play catch-up to City Stars?
Nairobi Stima is a team that played in the KPL, and with the experience that they gained at the top flight, should be easy for them when they're playing other teams in the NSL, and they should win this one comfortably.
Well, that is all the action that we had for you this week. Be sure to join us again next week as we look at the action that has been happening on week 10. Danny Sampaio, thank you very much for keeping me company today. That is all we had for you. My name is Gladys Midecha. See you.